of the Underground Railroad television show in Chicago. And say hi to the people out there. And I know you want me to get to the point, and what you're going to do is you're going to hear news from the perspective of someone that lives in the United States of America. That's what you're going to hear. And I guess, I don't know what happened because information was sent to him. But as they say, the show must go on. Okay. We do a television show that comes on every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. Central Time in Chicago on CARE Television Channel 19. But we come on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And any type of feedback you can give me, please let me know. We're going to talk about the news because I know that's just enough. That's enough. One thing that I'm learning, you have to get to the point on these broadcasts. What's going on in the news from somebody that lives in the United States perspective? Brittany Griner, who plays for the Phoenix Mercury women's basketball team, she got out of jail. For individuals that don't know, she was in jail in Moscow, accused of taking cannabis out of Russia when she was leaving. It was in a canister. It's something that you spray in your mouth. Okay. And she was accused. And what happened is she was in prison. Because, first of all, you think it was wrong for her to be in prison. When you're in somebody else's country, you have to abide by their laws. That is something that you have to do. You have to abide by their laws. So she was sentenced for actually 5 years. 5 years, but you know what? But the United States of America, Joe Biden made a great deal. But was it a great deal? In your opinion, was it a great deal? It was a prisoner swap. When they swapped the prisoner out, he gave us back Brittany, but it was Mr. Victor Blunt. He is a merchant of arms, like machine guns and bombs and all that. And was it a fair swap? Seeing as though he's back in Russia. And you know what? But Brittany, the basketball player that plays for the Phoenix Mercury, she is at home. So you know what? So Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden, they talked about the issue and they made the prisoner swap. What do you think about it? Do you think that it was legitimate? Do you think that it was right to make a prisoner swap to get Brittany Griner back? Okay, and Brittany Griner had a lot of support. She had a lot of support from NBA players like Stephen Curry, the Golden State Warriors. Plus, not only that, think Michael Jordan, the owner of the Charlotte Bobcats, the Hornets, because they changed their name. What may have had something to do. And Dennis Rodman, former Chicago Bull, wanted to go over there. But the thing is, there were many advocates. And I have questions to ask for people that are listening. I would like to know. I personally don't believe that Miss Brittany would have been over in that jail if she would have been a male athlete like Michael Jordan, held open in Russian jail for bringing something illegal about Russia. I don't believe that he would have been held. He would have been held in jail for 9 months. I don't even believe he would have been sentenced. Or LeBron James of the Lakers. I don't believe that they would have been sentenced to stay in jail. If there was, I think that the United States of America, they would have expedited the situation. It would have been taken care of. Because for people that are looking, do you think that because she was a woman that played for the WNBA, the basketball team, the Phoenix Mercury, do you think that there wasn't an urgency to get her out. Do you think that? Do you think that? You know, I mean, but most people that I talk to believe if it would have been something like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Dr. J, who split ABA before Michael Jordan, it would have been out a long time ago. And did the United States do the right thing by even making a trade? Should Brittany have known better to even put herself in a position like that? Should she have known better not to put herself in a position like that? It will put the United States in a compromising situation like that, to where they had to make a trade. You know, I think they had to make a trade because people were just, hey man, they were outraged. They were outraged. And I think it's justifiable, but I happen to think that Vladimir Putin, he played the chess game. He knew that the more people that talked about what was going on about Brittany Griner being helped, he knew it was a possibility that he can get Victor Blunt, which is classified as the merchant of death, because you know he trades arms with different countries. He knew it was a possibility if he just waited it out with the public outcry in the United States of America, that he would get Brittany back. So what do you think? Do you think that the United States did the right thing by swapping Brittany Griner for Victor Blunt, the merchant of death? And should Brittany have suffered some type of adverse consequences for making an attempt to get cannabis that you spray into a mist out of Russia? Who knows? Was it planted? They're planted. But Brittany did say that I made a mistake. She made a mistake. And she owned up for her mistake. And there's a lot of people that make mistakes. And they just don't want to own up to it. They don't want to own up to it. So, you know, let me know what you think. I see some people that are watching on the other channels, and you know what? Share this broadcast. You're watching, but you know what? I thank the people that are watching. And the other big news story. We're gonna get down to politics later on. Actually, we was talking about politics, talking about Brittany Griner, in a sense of them making a deal to get her out of jail. But I'm gonna go to Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, man, you know what? It's old news now. It's old news now. You know, people that don't know that Deion Sanders, he was the football coach of Jackson State University, which is an HBCU, is a historically black college. And you know what? There are people that are hating on Deion. They hating them. And you know what? There are people that's going to always love him. But you know what? There are people that are hating on him. Let me give you the background. He was a coach for Jackson State University for 3 years. 3 years. Okay. And he just recently won a championship. Okay. And what happened is Colorado University, the Buffaloes, you know what, they're in the Pac-12 college football. I don't really follow college football too much, but I'm starting to pay attention to it since Deion Sanders is involved in it. You probably say that's a heck of a reason. But you know what? Some people are calling Deion a sellout. What do you think? Do you think Deion Sanders is a sellout? Do you think that? I don't happen to believe that, but there are other people, other trolls on the internet that believes that Deion Sanders is a sellout. You know what? He left Jackson State, and you know what? He should have stayed. He should have stayed there probably to the end of his career. But I would say what he did was he was offered an opportunity. A lot of people do not know. They don't know what Deion Sanders did for HBCUs. historically black colleges and Jackson State in particular. They don't know. This is a broadcast. This is a live broadcast. We're going to talk about everything. And what I'm doing is right now, I'm talking about Deion Sanders, Mr. Muhammad, Assalamu alaikum. And I'm going to talk about things that are going on in the news and look back at some history. So that's what I'm doing, broadcasting. And I see there are people watching, and I appreciate it. But what happened is a lot of people do not understand what Deion Sanders did when he initially came to the HBCU, historically black college. He never said, "Did you know what? I will be there for y'all." He never said that. Okay. What Deion Sanders did, some people that's calling him a sellout, telling him that he was wrong for leaving Jackson State. What Deion Sanders did was he donated part of his, I'm not going to say stipend, I'm going to say he donated part of his pay. He donated it to Jackson State. Because, a lot of people know that HBCUs, historically black colleges, are underfunded. Okay, so he donated. Okay, and what Deion Sanders also did, I see a sellout for doing that. And what he did was also, he made sure that each one of his football players, each one of them, they, instead of walking around with hoodies when they was going to a new stadium or something like that, they were giving wardrobes. I'm talking about suits. So they didn't have to walk into a different stadium looking like, I'm not going to say looking like, but he wanted them professionally. He wanted them professional, and he was training them for it. So they didn't have to walk around with hoodies and baseball caps like I got on. Because if you're playing for a school, you have to understand you have to represent that school. But a lot of people just don't know that. They don't know that Deion Sanders did. They don't know that. And he made sure, is that a sellout? Somebody that would have. And he also made sure that if Jackson State University football team was going on trips that were long distance, he made a deal with American Airlines where they could fly. I don't know what the deal was, but who knows? They might have been able to fly for a fraction of. So I think that people that just don't know Deion Sanders used to play for the Atlanta Braves, and he used to play for the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, and he's a phenomenal coach. And you know what? I have to give Deion Sanders something. He knows how to utilize social media to disseminate information. That's something Deion Sanders does know how to do. So, like if you want to call, numbers 312-884-9757, or chat, and then you can join on in. I see these people looking, and I appreciate that. Because this particular broadcast is going on different websites. They're going on different websites, so therefore I don't have the ability to show you those numbers. I don't have the ability to do that. But even if it's one person looking, all praises to Allah for that. But you know what? But getting back to what I was saying is Deion Sanders a sellout? In my opinion, he's not a sellout. He's not a sellout. I don't see that. And if you see it, please let me know. I don't see that. And you know what? And then I go back to what I originally said. He had the ability to shine a light on HBCUs. I never really too much talked about HBCUs because I never went to a major university, a junior college. I go to Kennedy King, and I always want to say thank you to the professors out there that's giving me the knowledge to move forward. And whatever career that the Creator has ordained for me. It might be preparing me for something that has nothing to do with this. So Kennedy King is in Chicago, and it's located at 63rd House, and I want to thank them You know, but Lord knows they pulled the homework on me, but you know what, it made me better. But getting back to Deion Sanders, he never made the statement that I am going to stay at Jackson State College for the rest of my life. Never said that. He never said that. So to all the haters out there, I would beg to differ from you that you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And the things that I am discussing is things that are known in the paper. But he may have done some things. Of course, he did some things that are not known. You know, because you don't tell every single thing you do. I don't think anybody out there listening tells anything they do. You don't do that. So you know what? So I would say Colorado State. You know what? The Buffalo Sabres, I think that's the name of the football team that Deion Sanders went to. You know what? You usually look at college football, but I'm going to be looking at it. And he's a great recruiter. He's a great recruiter, and you know what? I commend him. And you know what? He knows how to utilize social media. You know what? Because it's to your advantage if you have social media and you have a following. If you have a following already, that makes the following huge. And you know what? What else is going on in the news? What happened is the Soviet Union, Russia has bought drones from Iran, and they're making more and more attacks on the Ukraine. They're making you, and the thing is, I know that there has to be a way for it to be a peaceful resolution. It has to be, you know, because innocent people that have absolutely nothing to do with what's going on, they're getting killed. And you know what? I feel sorry for them. I talk to some people in the neighborhood. They don't care. You know what? But I am a follower of news. It has to be a way that they could come to some type of resolution to. I'm talking about Russia and the Ukraine and the United States of America. Because what happened is Ukraine, they have asked for long-range missiles for the Ukraine to fire it back at Russia, but probably within Russia. So I think if they already bombed the building already within I'm not gonna say the USSR. I'm talking about within Russia, the Soviet Union. And the thing is, I think if they get their hands on more military weapons and long range weapons, I believe that it's going to be catastrophic. I believe that it is going to be real bad for a whole lot of people. What do you think? Should the United States be involved in the Ukraine? Should we be giving money to the Ukraine? And we have all type of global and social issues, economical issues that are going on in the United States, and we should stay out of it. Can the United States be the policeman of the world? Can we be the policeman of the world? So, you know, and it's interesting. And you know what, I got to say it, because you know what, as I look at the news, oh, thank you to the for the like. Okay, and I want to say, you know, as I look at the news, how I always wonder, how can the United States of America afford to give away all of these billions of dollars overseas, and their internal problems that are going on within the United States of America? You know, that's a water problem right now. There's some communities like in Chicago, Illinois, in University Park. They said that their water is cut off like about once a week. There's other communities where the water is tainted. Okay, I cannot. You know what? I cannot fathom how can we send all of this money overseas, and we have internal problems that are going on. But is it justified? Is it right? Is it wrong? What do you think? What do you think? Is it justified for them to do that? I don't happen to really think so. I kind of think that we should take care of our domestic problems. We should take care of home. But I'm quite sure there's somebody out there that's totally disagrees with me. Somebody's out there saying that, you know what? The United States has the responsibility. They had a responsibility of looking out for the world, you know. And I happen to believe that if there's not a madman in control, like an Adolf Hitler or something like that, I happen to believe that, you know what, countries should have the right to handle their own internal affairs. But you know what? But if your view is just totally different, let me know. Some people say, you know what? Theodore Roosevelt said, you know what? You walk softly and you carry a big stick. And I don't know. This, what do I mean? I don't know. I do know. I don't. There's something about it that I think is just unjust for us to be spending this type of money overseas, and we have an internal problems within our own country. That's like what's going on in Texas right now. What's going on in Texas is immigration. There's an immigration problem that is going on within the United States of America. And you know what? There are some countries that believe in sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities means you can come into our country, you can come into our city if you are undocumented. And you know, it's interesting to me because I don't, in a way, I'm sort of like tongue tied. You know what? Because I actually believe that you should, when you come into the United States of America, I kind of believe that you should have the right credentials to come into the United States of America. You should. I don't believe, but Joe Biden administration, President of the United States, does not appear to be addressing that because there's a group of people that I can also see the other side. Whereas if you live in this country, in these countries in Central America, okay, I'm not gonna say Mexico, are run by dictators and they're run by drug cartels. And so therefore they're run by drug cartels. They're being oppressive to the people. And I could understand, you know what, if I had a child, I would make an attempt to get out of that country. In Mexico, Central America, wherever there's tyranny. But is it fair? Is it fair? That's what I would ask people. Is it fair for them to come into sanctuary cities, going to Texas, where the governor's Governor Abbott, okay, and there's other governor, DeSantis, of Florida. What they do is they let the people come in because they say that the federal government is not enforcing the immigration laws. Well, all right, you know what? It's a sanctuary. They're sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities, again, believe that it's okay to come into the city, these cities like Chicago and Washington, D.C., you don't have to be documented and you could be afforded all of the opportunities just like you was born. Is that fair to the citizens that pay taxes? Is that fair that the tax money that is supposed to be allocated specifically for citizens that live within Chicago and New York and Washington, D.C. are being allocated towards people that have come in illegal. But sanctuary cities have made it illegal. So I guess what I'm saying is that putting, I believe, somebody said they give federal money for illegal immigrants that come from Mexico. They don't get federal money for that because you get federal money if somebody came in illegally. So the thing is this fair to the very people that live in Washington, D.C., that lives in Chicago, that lives in Washington, D.C. and New York, to have money that is supposed to be allocated, that's supposed to be used for people that are paying taxes within that community, out of that city, and that money is supposed to be allocated for people that live there. Is that fair? I think that's a fair question, and nobody in these cities will say, you know what, I'm going to go to court, and I'm going to challenge. When we take it to the Supreme Court, I'm going to challenge. How is this money being utilized and supposed? And I'm paying it, but I'm giving it to somebody, and it's supposed to be allocated for U.S. And, it's a question. That's a question. But you have to take. But like I said, there's another side too. The people that are living inside of these countries that are oppressed, that are being run over. Hey man, you know what? I always say, I was looking at the Twilight Zone. There was an individual that came. I think he was a Latino, Mexican, or Hispanic, and I don't want to be disrespectful. And he took power. And what happened is, once he took power, he started to turn corrupt, just like the oppressive government that he wanted to overthrow. I forgot that episode on the Twilight Zone. And what happened is there was a mirror that a sorceress had left, and every time he looked in that mirror, she said it would show an enemy. Got that? I forgot. So what happened is, the people that liberated the place, liberated the country in Central America, Mexico, or whatever, they became just as oppressive. And he made the statement, the people were complaining. The people were complaining. It's good. It was a good Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone is a show that comes on in black and white. And Rod Stern is the producer of that show. But he had the Mexican leader that made the statement is, the people are complaining in the streets, let them go up to the hills, let them do it, let them raise their own armies like I did. And he ended up going mad because just total power corrupts. But I think it has to be some type of way that these people in Mexico, in Central America, or whatever, that they can organize to do something to come back. But maybe once your country is just overwhelmed like that, it becomes different. It becomes difficult because people with the drug cartel, it's just so many, they have so much influence. You know what? Because they're using drug money, and they get the opportunity to pay off the politicians, pay off the police, and then there are moles, I'm pretty sure, that sit back and watch the politicians, and they think that they're having meetings, and they just don't understand that they're meeting. There's somebody that's reporting information back to the cartel. I don't know, man. I think this is a question that Donald Trump is going to have to address. I think this is something that Joe Biden is going to have to. They're going to have to address these issues because these are hard issues, and I guess it's not one size fit all. But I kind of think it should be. But I think Donald Trump will be running for president again. You know what? In spite of everything that we're seeing, all the calamity that we're seeing, and all this, he will be running for president again. And you know what? I think what it is I think that, I look at the Republicans, everybody that's running for the Republican nomination, they have not come out yet. Not everybody, who's running for the presidential election. And the thing is, even though Donald Trump is in a situation. He's being dogged. It's being talked about. Kind of think it's still going to come down between, again, I think it's going to come down between former President Donald Trump and Joe Biden. As you know, the Democrats will not hold any nomination because they support their lead. He's the leader of their party. Okay, and I think it's going to come down between Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, and I think it's going to come down between Joe Biden. And my question to you, the people out there, whose hands is the country better off in? Donald Trump or former President Donald Trump or President Joe Biden? Because the thing is about Donald Trump, he is a good debater. I have to say that. Not gonna say who I voted for and all that. He's a good debater, but that's what it's gonna come down to. And in some ways, the country may have been safer with Donald Trump in power. It may have been to a certain degree. It may have been that way, But I think that U.S. President Joe Biden, he is more synonymous to the presidential office, and he is led with dignity and respect. He just signed the bill recognizing, I think it was same-sex marriage. It's interesting. People will do what they want to do. He averted a train strike with the Rock Island and Sioux and all that, because that would have hurt us. That would have hurt the United States economically. But I think that it's going to be a very interesting race. And one other thing that's going to be involved is Roe versus Wade, overturning Roe versus Wade. In a sense, what is Roe versus Wade? It gives the woman the opportunity to choose whether she wants an abortion or not. She doesn't want an abortion. And you know what? The 50% of the people will agree. 50% of them don't agree. These are going to be issues that are going to come up I'm not going to say not just to Joe Biden and Donald Trump race, do I believe he will be the nominee. That's going to come up. I think that's going to always come up in an election. Then there's going to be an issue with the dreamers. There are people that came from Mexico, Central America, Guatemala, El Salvador. They can't come in the United States, and they're coming in from the borders, like a little bit. But this is a question. There are people whose parents have come into the United States illegally. Should the baby, if that person is impregnated, should the baby have the right to stay in the United States of America? I happen to believe that they should have the right to stay within the United States of America. I happen to believe that. What do you think? I believe that. I believe that they have the right to do that. And come to think of it, you know what? I got something on abortion that I want to show people. And you know what? I'm going to work just to the best of my ability. That is what I'm ready to do. I want to share something. I'm going to share something on my screen. So it was a young lady that did something on abortion. You know what? And I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show that to you right now. But I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'm going to show you a portion of it. That's what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the sound up. Okay. I'm going to turn the sound all the way up. And what I'm going to do is get out of the way. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the audio all the way. I'm going to start this. right now. And with no further ado, let's use commercials. Oh no, come on. Think what I'm doing is I'm showing the wrong thing. Well, what's happening when you're dealing with things like this? You know what, you have to take your time, and you have to. And you know what, that I apologize for, and I'm going to show this with no further ado. Okay, how y'all doing? This is Clifton R Bradley of the Underground Railroad television show, and we have a controversy issue that's going on. And the Supreme Court judges have overturned Roe versus Wade, and maybe she explained what Roe versus Wade is.
Me?
Yes.
Peace, y'all. Shout out to the Underground Railroad show and the Underground Railroad legacy. Roe v. Wade is the Supreme Court giving women the right to choose whether they will carry a life or abort that life. And I believe in a woman's right to choose for sure, 100%. I think that there are so many policies that can be in place if we really wanted to be in care for a child's protection. A lot of women get in really messed up predicaments, and the right for them to choose what happens with their reproductive rights is, I think, very paramount to just equity and justice.
You are looking at an episode called Straight Talk, and we want
so what you was looking at,
talk about
is
talking about pro-life, anti-life.
What you was looking at is how people feel about abortion. You know what? Half of the country is divided. You know, it's something. It's something. This is a political issue, and also it's a moral issue. And you know what? It's something. Like I said, the country is split on this. You know, they split on abortion, and it's just something to really, really look at. You know, and you know, you're looking at the Underground Railroad podcast, and we do a television show that comes on in Chicago, and also want to send a thanks out to the professors, my professors at Kennedy King College in the media production classes, our curriculum, for giving me more, enhancing my skills to make me better. And to all the people on YouTube that did all these great tutorials, we make videos. We do video production in Chicago. Okay. Press conferences, we do video editing, we do all that. Telephone number is 1-312-884-9757. And it'll be in the description at the bottom on the website. It will be more information. So that is what's good. That is what's going on in the news. That's what's going on in the news. And you know what? I'm going to probably end up doing another show. Probably. Who knows? I might do one tonight. I'm not even going to say the date, because if I say the date, this would be irrelevant. Who knows? It might be irrelevant now. But if there's one person that looked, and I know by looking at the numbers on my other websites, there's more than one. I want to thank the people that looked at the show, and you know what? I appreciate that. And to all the naysayers that said that, you know what, you shouldn't carry on, you should stop what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing, thank you. You know what? I found out, you know, you either following somebody else's agenda, or you following your agenda. And what's more important to me, and what should be more important to you, is following your own agenda. That's what should be more important to you. It's your dream and it's your reality. And we're gonna make it better. And if you have any constructive criticism, you know what? I can take it, send it to me. Sound is bad, if the imagery is bad, something is good, I feel like they're pleased. I appreciate it. I'm working to make better shows. We'll get Brother David Cost back on, and I'm going to get Dr. Lee Warren. In fact, he's a professor in Chicago. And there's a television show. We'll try to see if I can get him and his wife on. Yeah. My network. Nobody belongs to all networks. My network, people that I deal with, people that have been fair and just with me in the present and in the past. I want to highlight them, not me. It's not about me. It's about them. I want you to see what they're doing. So I thank everybody, and who knows, I think I may end up doing another show tonight. So I want to thank everybody for looking at the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad comes on every Saturday night at 10:30 in Chicago, Illinois. 10:30 p.m. Central Time at night. And we come on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So if you like this broadcast, if you have any suggestions or ideas, things that you would like to talk about, please, send me that information. Who knows? You might want to be a guest. If you want to be a guest, let me know. Always looking for guests. So I'm going to sign out, leave you in the words of Assalamu alaikum. This is what's going on in the United States of America from a United States perspective. Assalamu